Alright, guys, we're back with another episode of the Give Him Six podcast. It's Carson and Elijah.
Yep.
Probably going to be a little bit of a shorter episode today, but you know what? It's going to be a great episode because it was a very interesting game, bad turnout, but it was still still something we can talk about, right?
Yep.
So.
Definitely. Excited.
Sorry, guys, we both kind of have a little colds. All right, Carson, you ready to get started?
Ready to get this thing going, yeah.
All right, here we go. Hello and welcome to the Give Him Six podcast, the podcast where we talk about Tennessee and American sports. I'm Elijah.
And it's Carson.
And we're back for another episode. We've got USC and UT post-game. Carson and I both kind of have a little colds, but, you know, it's cool. We probably both got our colds for the same reason. The way that our team has been the last couple of years has given us colds. So, I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was an awful joke. But let's get started. Carson, this game was a game we should have won. Yeah, this game was a game we should have won, flat out. USC has the same problems that we have. We led most of the game, we let it slip, but we really should have won. And now this Muschamp coach has beat us 7 years in a row. So, my first question. How do you feel about the game? What are your thoughts?
Well, Elijah, thanks for asking, because I didn't expect that question at all. It was an evenly matched game. Both teams, I feel like, were an even team. I feel like Tennessee and South Carolina are evenly matched teams. A game we should have won. A game we needed to win. 75% chance to make a bowl game if we would have won. Now we only have a 25% chance of making a bowl game, which we can beat Missouri, Charlotte, and Vandy, then we might be able to. But all those games, like I said at the beginning of the year, Missouri, Vandy, and Kentucky are all going to be good teams, and they're pretty good this year. One thing I do have to say about the game is I felt like we controlled the whole entire game until we got to the very end. And they scored, and we weren't able to hold them. It was just kind of disappointing to watch.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It was very disappointing to watch. I'm sure for all of our listeners, for all you guys out there watching on the live, which, by the way, we're not only just live on Facebook today, we're also live on YouTube, and we're live on Periscope. So, go to Periscope, go to YouTube, type in Give 'Em Six Podcast. We'll pop right up, click on our live stream. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to like if you haven't already done that on YouTube and Periscope. So, yeah, I think there were three reasons that we lost. I think our defense was a reason we lost because I felt like we couldn't tackle anybody. Two, I think Garantano missing deep balls. And not having Keller Chris in the game, I think, was a big deal. We'll talk on that a little bit more later. And then three, I think the fumble in the end zone, players after the game were saying that was a fumble. I think when you tell your coach that, you should at least take a timeout to review it, if not challenge it, if the other team says it's something else. So, yeah, Carson, what do you agree with that? What do you think were some reasons we lost?
You ain't trying to blame it all on the coach, but I agree. I think it needs to be something that they need to be reviewed. Is something so close in the game, and then you don't even review it to the point where they're almost about to score. You can't, as a coach, assistant coach, you can't let your team give up a lead like that in the third quarter and then not even be able to win significantly in the game. I felt like it was a disappointment. Should have been better throughout coaching, but there should have been more execution from the players, especially from the defense side of the ball. We should have been able to hold them. Felt like they weren't doing anything the whole entire game until they got to the fourth quarter, third quarter, they started throwing. They were connecting passes, able to move down the field, 75 yards, 7-7 plays, and it was like Tennessee couldn't stop them. It got to 5 minutes, they scored. They were up by one. When they got the 2-point conversion, I said to myself, I don't see us coming down the field and scoring a touchdown. I said to myself, I just don't think with a crowd, sold out crowd, it's wild. Fourth quarter, I don't see us pulling away with this one.
Well,
I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
I mean, creds to South Carolina for being able to stay in the game. I mean, honestly, I mean, it's the way they were able to stay in the game and finish the game out with a significant victory, not at the last second. They were able to just QB kneel it. I mean, that's crazy.
Well, the whole game, though, we were leading. And, to be honest, I think that South Carolina and us, that's a great matchup because I think that South Carolina has a lot of the same problems we do. I was reading Tony Basilio's blog. He had a thing on South Carolina. I thought he was talking about us. I mean, it's seriously, y'all. It looks very similar, our teams right now. And I called us to win that game, and I was just so happy. And then the fourth quarter hits, and yeah, we lost.
I mean, you're exactly right on the similarities between the teams. I mean, the quarterback situation coming into the game was should we play Keller? Should we play Jarrett? And then it was for South Carolina, it was should we play Jake Bentley? You know, it's like it was confusing between both teams. And also, it was almost like the offenses have been pretty significant, pretty, I guess, average all year, and then it's the defense that they might have a little bit of problems with.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Now, to the Keller Chris thing, you knew we were going to get to this. Everyone knows that this is a big issue. Well, first off, we made Keller Chris the captain, and we didn't let him play. I personally think that's very embarrassing. He's a senior. He's got 1 year.
I know, and he transfers to Tennessee and doesn't even get to play in a game where he was able to score 3 touchdowns versus Alabama. 2 touchdowns. The 1 touchdown was from a pick six, but still, able to move the ball.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so you think we should have let him play. Should we have let him start?
Let him start? That's up to the coaching position. We should know what we're doing when we have a week of practice. It's unacceptable. I mean, it's almost like I'm talking about a Butch Jones football team here. It's like, well, we were down to practice and we don't know who to play. Well, we just pulled out a guy. And it's like you bring in a new offense coordinator that was somehow the quarterback's coach for USC that, Coach Sam Darnold, the NFL All-Star. And then we don't even know who we're putting out there. I mean, who has shown more potential? I think Keller Chris. I mean, we put him out there on the field, and sometimes he shows it. I mean,
He does.
I mean, I just don't understand. I think a lot of fans are asking the question, why? Why is it not Keller Chris? He was so hyped up, And then I talked to one of my friends, and he goes to every home game. He says every single game he goes there, he hears Keller Chris chants. Something we can't hear sitting on the couch watching it,
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think that we still have a Butch Jones team. We're making progress, but we still have a Butch Jones team, but we don't have a Butch Jones coach. Thus, it will get better. Right now, it's hard to watch Tennessee football, especially for me and Cars. We've never really seen Tennessee football at its greatest. The best was when Jason Swain was there, ending in 2006, and we weren't really old enough to remember that. So, we've never had a good football team. I think we got a storm coming, a storm full orange. We always say that at the end of the episode.
Yep.
But yeah, I agree. I think it was disappointing, and I think we should know what we're doing. Our coaching staff should definitely have that plan. They should know. So. Here is something that I've heard from people. This is kind of a rumor going around. I don't know if it's true or not. And I really want to know if you think this is true or false and kind of your thoughts on this. So some people say that if we were to start Keller Chris, Garantano would think about leaving the team. What do you think?
Lord help. I mean, why would he want to leave the team? You know, if you have a Keller Chris guy that's a fifth-year senior, I mean, he's leaving. He has to leave after this year, so he's gone. Jarrett Garantano still has another year to start.
Exactly. See, which I think that's why I think it's not true. I mean, people were saying that because last year, they said he was on the bench pouting, but in all fairness though, Butch Jones was coaching that team, and I no doubt he was probably like lying to the players about all sorts of different things.
You know exactly what everybody said last year. Well, let's let's put in Jarrett Garantano. We're tired of Quentin Dormady. It's like we can't have a sufficient quarterback. It's just
yeah, we haven't had a really decent quarterback since Josh Dobbs left.
Right.
And it's harmful to our team, and I do think that our third string quarterback, I think he'll be making it up pretty soon. I think he'll be doing pretty good. We've got, hopefully we can get some commitments. I think after and if this staff was to win a bowl game this year, they'll get more recruits. If they win a bowl game next year, they'll get more recruits. But until we really see how good Jarrett Garantano or Jeremy Pruitt can coach, we'll see how good he is. It'll take maybe 3 years, because we've got to give him time to recruit. And, both of us say we've got to give him time, even if, we don't want to.
Got to give him time. Yeah, you just can't expect a huge winning season, but I've said it once and I'll say it again, but we have a better team than we did last year. Unacceptable.
Yeah, we do. Well, Cars, before we continue, I think it'll be good if we just take a break, cool down, and thank our sponsors.
Music has such power in our lives. The way we listen to and experience music is undergoing a profound change these days. To have access to nearly all the music in the world at our fingertips and in our pockets is remarkable. And if that place could actually accommodate and support the artists who make the music, and not just the top-tier artists, but the kids in their bedrooms too, provide them all with a home and a way to engage with their audiences, that would be pretty great. And that's what we set out to do with Apple Music.
Millions of businesses count on Fiverr every day to get things done faster, better, and on budget. Fiverr.com is the world's largest marketplace for the professional and creative services you need. Sign up today for free at Fiverr.com.
Introducing the Plant Therapy Aroma Fuse Diffuser, the first Plant Therapy ultrasonic essential oil diffuser with a full 1-year warranty and an extra large capacity reservoir. Visit planttherapy.com/aroma fuse.
With pain relief, we're all at the corner of relief is good and fast relief is better. Good thing Walgreens gets you in and out in no time, so you can find relief fast with solutions like Advil, at the corner of happy and healthy.
I'm off to bed. Alexa, set an alarm for 7 a.m.
Alarm set for 7 a.m. tomorrow.
Introducing the iABS 16 from iHome, the first major brand to offer a bedside speaker system with Alexa built right in.
All right, guys, we're back. Thank you guys so much for staying with us. Anyway, thanks to iHome Audio for sponsoring this episode. Now, Cars, I don't know if there's anything to talk about here, but did you see any unimprovement, and did you see improvement, and if so, where?
Well, you come off improvement definitely from the Alabama game. I mean, it's hard not to show improvement after getting beat like that, but that's how everybody else has gotten beat this year from Alabama. But I saw improvement probably, and it's surprising, but for some, the offensive line was giving up these sacks after he was able to get the ball off. But there's the key word. He was getting the ball off.
Right.
We lost a good guy in Trey Smith, okay?
Yeah, and our prayers out to him. Yeah.
Yeah. But I saw improvement in the offensive line. It's something I didn't ever... and that has to do with the defensive line for South Carolina. It's not all that in a bag of chips. But... I mean, at least we were able to protect him enough so he could get a ball off, but he wasn't connecting passes, which goes to the point where I saw an improvement in the quarterback situation. Even though Jared Garantano was, I guess you could say, he was just, he played good in the first half, but I think that has stuff.
Yeah, but the last half
to
was
do with
critical.
The running backs. I don't know, but yeah, that's my improvement, unimprovement.
All right, yeah, I agree. I definitely saw improvement in the offensive line. All right, we finally get to I think our favorite part, and we're getting close to the end of the podcast, but this is one of our favorite parts. Here we go.
Drum roll.
Okay, Cars, predictions for some games, and then I want to hear the new segment, the Carson Game of the Week.
Well, some games to be watching for Saturday. I think there's so many, I can't even count on my fingers. But let's go ahead and get started. Missouri and Florida. I'm not just doing SEC games, so don't be like, he's just doing SEC games now.
He does everything Florida, here. This is awesome.
Missouri has a good football team. They were able to almost beat Kentucky on a last-second play. Kentucky just happens to come out and win the game. It was probably the worst performance that a team can make at their ranking and still win the game. And it was pretty disappointing for Missouri fans. But anyways, let's get on to the next one. Texas A&M and Auburn. Texas A&M goes back in the rankings. Well, actually, they were in the rankings, but they lost to Mississippi State last week, and they went down to 25th, and they play Auburn. Next is number 6, Georgia, and number 11, Kentucky. What do you think about that game, Elijah?
I think it's going to be close, and who will win?
Kentucky's home.
I'm going to say Kentucky wins.
Georgia. Hey, and remember what I said last week about the Carson Game of the Week, how it was Georgia and Florida, and I said Georgia would blow them out?
Yeah, well, hey, you said 38-0, I said 38-10. Neither of us were correct, but hey,
Hey, it was still a very good victory for Georgia. Florida competed first half, but wasn't able to win.
Damn, his Florida team, dadgum.
Excuse me.
Anyway, what about the Carson Game of the Week? Woo!
The Carson Game of the Week is can't miss it out. Number 1 Alabama versus number 4 LSU.
All right, I like it. It's gonna be a good game. I think I know who will win, but Cars. Let's see. Do you think we can still go 6-6?
I think we beat Missouri and Charlotte, but I hate to say it.
You think we're going to lose to Vandy, don't you?
At Vandy, it's going to be a close one, but we lose to them.
I think it'll be a close one, and okay, I'll be honest with you. Because of the last few years, I'm inclined to say they'll lose. But I think this team will practice hard, and I think they'll get in shape, and I think they'll work for this game, and I think they'll get it because it's at Vandy, but Vandy isn't that far from home. I think they're going to win.
We only have one more away game, but we do play Kentucky at home.
Right.
Maybe we pull out an upset.
I don't know. Kentucky's not as good as they're hyped up to be, but they're still better than us, in my opinion.
I agree with that. Their ranking's pretty high for the way they played versus Missouri. But
yeah.
Anyways, I got something to say before we close out this podcast. You guys need to stay with Tennessee. We can't give up on them. We might say negative things, but we also say positive things. Doing a podcast, you gotta be truthful. You can't just put all Tennessee. I'm not being the Tennessee fan.
We keep it real. We keep it real here at the Give 'Em 6 podcast.
Exactly, but just stay with Tennessee. We could make a bowl game. And like I say, every single podcast, put it in quotes.
There's a storm coming.
There's a storm coming, and it's full of orange.
I told you guys what I say. I said he was going to say it later. Now, we've got storm coming, storm full of orange. Guys, make sure you follow us on social media. And I'm going to give a here we go. Just give me a sec here. Yeah. All right. So on Twitter, we just got 4 followers. I'm going to give a shout out to our first 3 followers, who are pretty great people. We love them. Clone at Cloney Island. Thank you so much for following us. We love you. Great Clonecast the other day. Matt Dixon, sports writer, and he's on the Tony Basilio show and does Tony Basilio blogs. He's awesome. He has great What Pruitt Said, What Pruitt Meant to Say blog. I read that every time it comes out Tuesday. And Alex Myers at Alex Myers TV. He is a commentator, and he does the Tony Basilio postgame show. Guys, they're all great people. We have 4 followers. If you're our 5th, we're going to give you a shout out in the next episode. Tell your friends about us. Make sure they follow us. And, you know, I Give 'Em 6 podcast. Easy to find. Go to our website.
That Twitter's brand new, so followers will be adding up. So you need to get that 5th spot if you want to get a shout out.
Get that 5th spot. You know what? Also, if you do that, then just send us a tweet at Give 'Em 6 podcast, and we'll do 1 advertisement for whatever you want. You know what? We'll do that. So be our 5th follower. Make sure to share this episode with your friends. #repost. And I think that's about it. Remember, the Give 'Em 6 podcast is always
scoring touchdowns.